All right, people, you actually did read that right. We have a critical betrayal situation going on in the DOJ. I know what you're thinking. You're shocked beyond shocked. I know, me too. Well, I'm going to walk through the entire thing with you right now, guys. The context that I have, the information that I've received, has now been confirmed and backed up with lots of different reporting and lots of different facts, including court filings. The zero tolerance policy from the Biden administration, you know, that wonderful little executive action that Biden used to put out of business all sorts of moms and pops. Yeah, Turns out it's back and it's in full force. Yeah, and it's actually being endorsed by the DOJ, at least according to the court filings that I'm about to show you. So, as you guys get in here, make sure you let me know you can hear me. Audio, video is good over there. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, because this is a really important one, guys. And every time that you do, you help further the voice of freedom and the Second Amendment, and we get to fight these gun controllers no matter what administration we find them in, because it turns out they kind of live everywhere. All right. So as we get into this, and I can see the notifications are struggling a little bit, so let me know once you guys get in here. Audio and video is good. We're going to dive right into this issue. But as you're filtering in, guys, make sure you're not only hitting that like, subscribe, but you're also checking out the new merch that we have. This is the design that we have coming out right now. Together, we're grinding to save our country. And if that means we have to go against Republican DOJs, then we're going to go against Republican DOJs, because our rights are paramount, not party affiliation. Now, we're going to grind this together. The shirt that you see on your screen right now is available in charcoal, brown, and navy. This is something that, honestly, is a limited time design because it's something that really exemplifies what we fight for every day. It's men and women's designs on the front and on the back, and I'd love to have you guys support the channel and check that out in the description box below. And no matter whether you're in the football game, don't mind the color, I'm just saying, or the gun range like you're seeing right here. You're going to look good, and you're going to espouse our beliefs, and you'll support the channel and support that gun rights fight. All right, let's get into this, people. We have got to talk about something, and I can see the notifications did not go out because holy crap. All right, let's just roll, and you guys can catch it up on the other end. So, what I'm showing you right here, guys, is the DOJ position. This is reporting from the Daily Caller. Exclusive. DOJ position in Second Amendment case is at odds with Trump's agenda and gun group alleges. Yeah, well, that gun group is GOA. So they actually bring receipts, and I'm going to show them to you. No notification, Texas checking in. Yep, that figures. That checks out. No notification on this one. All right, here we go. Let's see. You guys can see that. The Department of Justice is contradicting the Trump administration's stance on now repealed Biden administration policy that burdens Second Amendment rights, a gun group alleged Tuesday. This is breaking as of right now, guys. In Gun Owners of America's ongoing case challenging the Biden administration's zero-tolerance policy, which implemented stringent standards for federal firearms dealers that enabled licenses to be revoked over paperwork errors, the government does not intend to change its position according to GOA's Tuesday filing exclusively obtained by the Daily Caller's News Foundation. A current DOJ lawyer, this part right here, a current DOJ lawyer informed GOA the government has, quote, no plans to abandon its previous arguments in recent communications about the case per the filing. The Biden DOJ previously argued that the Second Amendment does not protect private businesses' right to sell firearms, according to court filings. So the Biden DOJ filed that, and the current DOJ under Bondi says the government has no plans to abandon its previous arguments. That's a bit of a problem. Call me old-fashioned. Anyway, let's keep on going. Though the DOJ and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives repealed the Biden administration's zero-tolerance policy in April, GOA is continuing to litigate the case to set a permanent precedent. That's the point. The whole reason that GOA is pushing this is for what you're seeing right now. They're pushing it to say, yeah, I know that you withdrew it and all that kind of stuff, but we want to make it permanent. I don't want the ATF in 4 years under Gavin Newsom to come back in and throw it right back in. We want to drive the stake through the nail, or through the heart of this bad boy. This gun control vampire needs to die. That's exactly what they're saying. And then the DOJ responds and says, yeah, we have no plans to go forward. Excuse me? Okay. I'm going to show you the document too. The case is not moot because an ATF policy like zero tolerance is not a law and does not go through the formal processes like notice and comment rulemaking, Gun Owners of America's Senior Vice President Eric Pratt told the DCNF. Rather, it can be done and undone on a moment's notice, scrawled on the back of a napkin, purely at the pleasure of the ATF bureaucrats, which is the problem. And where we're at, by the way, little side note, we are either at, this is completely and totally at the high level being issued and directed downward from like Bondi all the way down, or we've got rogue bureaucrat situation going on in the middle again. It's one of those two things, right? I'm going to show you what they said. Anyway, courts repeatedly hold that challenges to such inherently transitory agency actions are not mooted simply because the agency backs off in an effort to avoid an adverse precedent in court. Attorney General Pam Bondi said the zero tolerance policy unfairly targeted law-abiding gun owners and created an undue burden on Americans seeking to exercise their constitutional right to bear arms in an April statement. Under the previous policy, some licensees were being penalized for simple mistakes such as forgetting to put their license number on forms, ATF Acting Director Daniel Driscoll said when issuing an updated policy in May. This new guidance gives our investigators the discretion to tell the difference between an honest mistake and a real threat to public safety. I'm throwing you down all the evidence of what they put out in their own words for saying that this was a bad idea. The DOJ's litigation position, quote, is fundamentally at odds with the administration's recent public statements about the policy, GOA argued in its brief. Yeah, that would be a good point. All right, let's go to GOA real quick, as you guys are just now getting in here, because literally there are no notifications whatsoever, so send this one out, please. Breaking from Gun Owners Foundation, the Justice Department is trying to moot GOF's and gun owners' lawsuit against the Biden ATF's zero-tolerance policy. Without a permanent fix in court, the next president could easily reinstate this gun control. DOJ is evading review, and we will continue to fight. That's what they just posted a couple minutes ago, and this is coming on the heels. I apologize. That's from July. That was the original issue. This is the new updated post that they just posted a moment ago. This one. The Justice Department tells GOA and Gun Foundation, quote, the government has no plans to abandon its previous arguments in defense of ATF's zero-tolerance policy. Insane take since Biden's DOJ argued that the Second Amendment does not protect the right to sell firearms. And here is the actual post that they put up. Thanks, Rob. The government has no plan to abandon its previous arguments. Well, that's less than ideal. Let's go back to the Daily Caller article. And again, please send this one out because a single notification did not go out. Two attorneys who worked on the case during the Biden administration are still listed as handling the case according to the public docket. So it's pretty obvious what's going on here. You've got the Biden holdovers that are still doing this. Eric Pratt, told the DCNF this is just the latest in a string of legal battles that President Trump's Department of Justice has continued to wage with gun owners of America. Quote, we're grateful for the plethora of pro-2A actions this administration has already taken, which makes it all the more frustrating that the DOJ is fighting against lasting victories against Biden's anti-Second Amendment actions like ATF's zero-tolerance policy. The engaged in business rule and the revocation of Michigan's permits as Brady alternates, he said, rather than agree to permanent enforceable victory to make sure these abuses never happen again. The DOJ has been seeking to preserve maximum government power, the opposite of what Trump was elected to do. The argument that we're facing here is either a temporary Band-Aid removal or driving a stake through the heart of the gun control vampire. I choose gun control vampire heart. But that's the whole point here. And I'm going to show you the actual article. It's not the article, the court doc here in a second. Let me show you this because they just dropped this stuff, all right? Get that out of the way. Here's the actual court document. And send this one out because I don't know where it's going to go because literally YouTube doesn't want this one anywhere apparently. All right. Right here. In a recent communication with plaintiffs' counsels, Department of Justice counsel informed that the government has no plans to abandon its previous arguments in this case, but that places defendants in quite a pickle. Their continued litigation position and the representations they made to this court and the court below are fundamentally at odds with the administration's recent public statements about zero tolerance. When the government speaks out of both sides of its mouth, no one should be surprised if its latest utterance, here a full-throated defense of zero tolerance, isn't the most convincing one. Bittner versus United States, that's a reference from a previous court. Guys, what you're dealing with right now is quite literally, God in heaven, it's so bad. Also consider defendants' adamant denial that the AAP callously punished unintentional human error and that inadvertent paperwork errors led to costly revocation proceedings. That's what we were talking about the whole time through the Biden administration. Mom and pop shops were closing down because of spelling errors. Big FFLs were being pressured to close down because of FFL spelling errors. Seriously. But they're going to keep enforcing it? Again, the president says the opposite, that the AAP tried to crush independent firearms dealers by revoking their licenses if they make a single error, even in a very unimportant paperwork. Even if defendant Daniel Driscoll, who is the ATF director, does not believe what DOJ's lawyers continue to argue, as he acknowledged that under zero tolerance, some licenses were being penalized for honest mistakes, such as forgetting to put their license number on forms. There are not one-off comments. The White House has reiterated this understanding, observing that the AAP specifically targeted mom-and-pop shop small businesses who made innocent paperwork errors. Defendants, again, this is the government, the defendants of the government. Defendants likewise deny that the AAP mandated automatic revocation for zero-tolerance violations, yet defendant ATF precisely admits that on its own website that the AAP applied automatic outcomes and caused automatic revocation based on its presumption of license revocation for certain violations. Guys, why this is a big deal is because the Biden administration put these things in place and they were meant to be destroyed in the Trump administration. Now that they've revoked them from the executive rulemaking process, but they haven't actually killed them and the court has rendered them moot, they're still arguing from the position that they're arguing to the Biden era arguments, basically. They're saying that those arguments are perfectly fine and they're not going to kill it. That's the big problem. That's why this is the whole kerfluffle. Because what effectively is happening is a Band-Aid, push it off until too late, and now it comes back. That's what you're dealing with. You're either going to kill it forever or it's going to be sitting there on the shelf. Why would they have it sitting on the shelf? It doesn't make sense. All the things that I just read to you, why would you want to keep it on the shelf if you were on the side of destroy this, right? All right. And if you guys are just not getting in here, 171 people are watching this. Normally at this point in time, there's around 700. Just so you guys know from a notification kill down. All right. Finally, defendants have argued that their zero-tolerance policy does not implicate or infringe the Second Amendment because the Second Amendment does not protect the right of private businesses to sell firearms. What? That is a truly astonishing claim, and once again, defendants' statements betray them. For example, as the White House explains, the Biden administration flagrantly sought to eliminate Second Amendment rights by limiting Americans' ability to acquire firearms. I mean, here's where it boils down. They're talking out of both sides of their face. That's the whole point. They're coming out of both sides of their face and they're saying, no, it's bad, Biden era, but then we're gonna keep on arguing it. That's the point. You can't do that. Kill it. Why would you not just end it? Unless there was an ulterior motive, and I hope that's not the case. And why are Biden era bureaucrats at the DOJ still litigating these points? And they're still putting forth the exact same arguments. Why? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, DOJ's lawyers cannot continue to deny the Second Amendment violation that the administration acknowledges occurred. As one district court put it, flip-flops of this magnitude are disingenuous at best. And that is how we're going to wrap that up. What they've done is they're sitting in a position where bureaucrats, whether they be rogue bureaucrats or they're being told what to do from the top. I can't tell you that. I'm not involved in the DOJ. But what you're dealing with at this point are two different sides of their face they're talking out of, and both are bad. Spread this one out because YouTube is not doing its damn job at all. And this is a pretty important one. So that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you on